I, Dloto Mayana, take you to be my lawfully wedded husband.
I choose you as a person to whom I will spend my life with.
Welcome back to our channel. This is Dloto
And
do I always say that?
And
Okay. So welcome back, guys, on our channel. We want to welcome you and thank you so much. This is Catch Up with the Dlotos, where the real conversations are shared. Today I'm really excited. Are you excited?
I am always excited.
Not always.
I'm
babe.
always like,
Sometimes
like I'm already
you're not
always.
happy and excited, but today I'm quite excited because we'll be sharing with you guys how we got married. A lot of people have been asking us where we got married, how we got married, and all that. So today we're going to be sharing with you on the 350 Rand which we spent on our wedding, and today we are husband and wife. So let's get into it, guys. I want to know, babe, what was going on? Why did we have to wait? Oh, by the way, on our part one, I know that we did share that you proposed to me after 2 months, which is quite crazy and hectic. Just tell me, let's take it back. What was going through your mind?
I think many men that will have an opportunity to listen to this, they will agree with me, Glendobana. If you know, you know. And I knew in Dobana, this Dloto is for me. And that's the reason why I've made it a point, Dobana. I'm definitely intentionally sure about you. There was no hesitation, there was no confusion, I knew that when you are mine. So that's why I then decided intentionally that I want to get to propose to you and also to make you ready to become my wife.
And yes, guys, this for me is quite a reflection because in as much as we proposed, or he proposed me, because it's not me, he proposed me after 2 months. I literally had to wait for close to 5 years or 6 years.
Less than that, I suppose. It was less than that.
Wasn't it 4 years?
Yeah, less than that,
No, it wasn't less than 4 years.
But it's 4 years.
It was actually 4 years. I had to wait 4 years. So I was engaged for 4 years before he actually got married to me. And today we wanted to tell you guys, first of all, before we go to our marriage, to our wedding, I wanted us to explain why we actually waited that long.
I think,
do you want to start?
maybe, so causes that people don't understand one of them in the actual truth has always been linked to this whole concept of finances and money, because without you having finances, you are unable to do what you have to do. And also when you don't have a good job, kind of all of those things, it's become very difficult for you to then get married. So the reason why for us we had to take long is because of I did not have a proper job that pay well enough.
Let's go into that, because sometimes when a person just says I don't have money, I really want to get married to this person, but it's just that my finances don't allow me at this point in time. I remember Siamba, we were in Green Acres back in Port Elizabeth, and he just said to me, babes, I want us to go this direction. They would know that there is Woolworths that is looking in this direction, and then there is a nice corner which is American Swiss. So he just said to me, we're actually going to Woolworths that time because we were just going there to just check a few items, and then he's like, no, we're not going to first start there. I was like, what? He's like, I'm like, and for me personally, knowing the fact that my husband is not a romantic person, I knew that he was not getting me like a necklace or a bracelet or whatsoever. I knew that it was something serious. Then again, but I was like in my mind, no man, an upgrade. He wanted to just get a cell phone or whatsoever. But again, when I saw this lady in front of us, and then she started, I still remember her name of you guys. She was just looking at me, and she had this bubbly smile. Then I knew that, okay, this was the moment. But now, to my surprise, I thought he was actually gonna engage me at American Swiss, which was kind of blonde, and then we went in there. Can you just Just tell me. Yeah, babe, can you just take me back? Just remind me.
I mean, I don't have all the details.
No, it doesn't even. You don't have all the details, but you were the one who took me to American City.
But the idea for me, you know, as these things that you do, are trying to put a significance to the relationship itself. You pointed out correctly that I'm not a very romantic person, but you know, I wanted to really to show you how much I'm serious about you.
No, wait. You know, I might have not gotten the wedding of my dreams.
Yeah.
But my engagement. So I have a few of our friends which we invited, and Anele, he then says to me, you know what, we're gonna go out. And I'm like, go out, what? Yes. And then he's like, yes, we're gonna go out, so please go prepare yourself, because he knows I take like a long time. So if he gives me 2 hours, that 2 hours can turn into literally 4 hours.
Or 5 hours.
Or 5 hours. So he needs to give me like the set of time in advance. So he told me, baby, please, Zlungi, say we're gonna go out, we're just gonna have a meal. Little did I know that he was inviting a few of his friends. And then after that, we went to the beach, famous Port Elizabeth. Yeah. That's like our tourist attraction, Landuzane Boardwalk. So we were just strolling there after having a meal at this famous restaurant. And then we took a stroll, and it was getting dark. But now I'm saying to him, baby, I'm noticing candles as you move into the beach, like literally on the, like it's like an aisle. And I'm noticing that there are candles. And I'm like to myself, what is happening? And I'm like, what's happening here? And I begin. And I'm like, what is happening here? But I noticed that there is like, you know, marry me. And I was like, okay. But still, I don't know if it was me being naive or whatsoever. But we were like the only ones, literally.
I had to make sure.
We were like the only ones at the beach.
Making sure,
Because I think it was around winter when you proposed to me. And it was very dark. So I see this and I'm like, baby, let's just go. I just want to see, maybe perhaps it was for someone. Let's just quickly go and take a picture, and maybe just take a picture of this thing. I don't know what was going on in my mind, but I didn't anticipate, like I said, my husband is not a romantic person. So it was like a far-fetched idea from what I know my husband to be. We get to the beach and I'm start seeing his friends, and they smiling at me and they like looking at me, and they were like, Dloto, you are the luckiest woman ever. And I look at my husband, I'm like, Anele. Now I'm agitated because he knows whatever happens, I don't like being left behind. I always want to know. And I'm like, baby, and now he looks at me and he's like, chill, woman. And he goes down in one knee and I'm like, guys, I'm always this funny person, this bubbly person, but that day I was stunned. I just looked at him with that pose and I'm like, all right, what's going on?
You're supposed to be excited about
I was excited, but I was just shocked because I wasn't waiting for it.
You can't get Dloto off guard, so she wants to know everything. Details.
So you can never surprise
her. So if you surprise Dloto, you know that she won't react. So she wants to know.
So, and then after that, he knelt down and then he said his speech. He said his speech, and I was just like, he wasn't even finished. I was like, I do. I've always wanted to get married, guys. Especially to my husband. I was like, I do, babes. And he wasn't even done. And then he slides the ring, but it was a different one from this one. This one I actually got on my anniversary. And then I was like, yes. And then he slid in the ring and I was like in tears. And then his friends, he organized, one of his friends took pictures, but it was like very dark. That's the reason why we couldn't really share them online or whatsoever. And because it was actually dark. And then after that, I was engaged. And for what? 4 years. And I know the reason why, yes, guys. And there's one thing that a person just needs to understand and realize, and I love my husband about that, is that let's get into this. We'll discuss on our episode and on part 3 about our finances, how we handle our finances and so on. But Anele, I regard him as much as a person of being a saver, and I'm the spender in this relationship. And
I think let's put it differently. I'm quite more financially conscious.
Yeah. Kalobu, you are the saver, and I'm more of a person who
and
just...
you explore,
yeah,
you like to explore with your finances.
With my finances. And then after that, we took time to just chill because Ngoku reality hit us.
Another thing, baby, I want to say this. Sometimes the danger for you guys who want to get married, I think one of the things that we tried so hard to avoid was to be influenced by people who have what I call external expectation through internal people, like external expectation. Abantu who know you and they love you, friends, family, blah blah blah. They may have their own expectation for you. Okay, what type of a wedding you must have. So we try to deviate from that kind of narrative, so that we do what we wanted to do
and what makes us and what we have in our pockets.
And
as well.
Besides that, but what was really our own reality, so that what is that we can afford, let alone because I'm never outside the relationship. They don't know what is happening inside the relationship and the challenges that we may have inside. So the trick will be for other people to try to force a situation so that you could be accepted in this expectation. So one of the things that I think we managed to say, no, we won't be able to do this. I could have done it if I wanted to satisfy, to make them happy. Other people, I could have done everything because I was known by many people, and people have their own expectation about me and what kind of a wedding. And also I wanted to do it as well, but I thought, what is my reality? My reality is always the finances, and my own reality will always go back to finance. Let alone abantu bathini bona, let alone what your family say. Wena muntu ufuna uchata. Because look at our life now. Beyond indaba umshado, we live a happy life. We don't have debt.
And I'm very proud of us for that.
Imagine, Dloto, I'm just thinking about it. Imagine if we could have allowed abantu to say, okay, this is it. I mean, we had a lot of people saying, oh, Dloto,
when are you getting married?
I mean, let alone that when you married, must have this dress, this venue, blah, blah. Everything was expensive because they looked at us and they thought that we could afford this lifestyle. At that point, we couldn't afford. But we couldn't afford. So my plan, my plan and my thinking was, let's stop. Let's do us. And we did us.
And I loved the fact that when my husband was like, okay, fine, this is what I'm thinking. We had a meeting like we always do normally on a weekday. We sit down, we reflect, and we had to be quite honest. We had to be very honest with ourselves on what do we have, what are we working with, what are we going to be doing. And the moment we sat down and we started looking at our finances, we started budgeting, we looked at, first of all, the people that we wanted to invite versus what we have in our bank.
But baby, wait, when we used to fight about the number of people that we before city decision, we used to fight the number of people that was come to our wedding. We had more than 300 people that we...
Okay, we need to put this out there. You wanted a big number because of the people that know you. You've got so many friends and so many people that know you. And then for me personally, I've always wanted a very small wedding and a very intimate wedding where I have my close friends, my family, and that is it. And my husband, obviously. So it was, we were always having a conflict around that, or we would always have
conflict, baby.
Around that.
The conflict now I understand. The conflict will be, what does it mean for Anele to have that number in event? What does it mean? What does it mean for Dloto to have this number? So always do what we call a reality check. check your thinking, check your reality. Okay, I want 300 people. What does that mean? And a conflict for us was to try to do what we call is synchronization of these expectations like Anele, these expectations like Dloto. Can they meet halfway? And what will help you always is that reality check.
And then after that, so we basically had to, face the reality that we didn't have money. And at that point in time, if you guys can remember from part 1, if you have not watched it, please do so that you can be able to understand some of the things that we're saying. So, and at that time, my husband was on contract. So, and at that time, I was a student. I wasn't even working. So we had to face the reality that we don't have money. And I've always been this woman who doesn't want any assistance. I never wanted our families to take money out of their own pockets just because of we wanted to get married. I didn't want anyone paying for our thing. I've always been this woman. So we sat down and then we were like, Anele, I do want to get married to you. And he said, I also want to get married to you. This is what I have in my bank account because we had saved money. And I was like, baby.
Can you say this? In reality, I'm gonna say it to you guys. You got to be very patient with your partner in this process of getting married, because there is a possibility that you could lose one another in that process, because the idea of child can then stimulate this unintentional fight among yourself. That's why I'm saying to you guys, you got to be patient with one another, because you could fight and end up separating. I'm saying this is an idea that came to us, because what helped us, Tina, was this tension of we wanted to get married, we wanted to get it, but the reality that we didn't have money that we wanted, at the time. And what helped us was to always talk through things.
Certain things that people don't understand about indaba yomtshado is that even though you might not have money, you go to a point whereby kukho indaba yelobola, like what we ended up doing. But I personally had to talk to my family because of we didn't have even much money. You know what I mean? Even though it was too much money, which abayibizayo. But at least the fact that I was able to go to my family and try to negotiate with them and say, guys, upangela yedwa and he's doing all these things. So whatever amount you guys do, it's gonna cost, but please just also have that at the back of your mind. That's what I'm saying, you need to, at some point, baby, acknowledge the fact that at some point I worked hand in hand with
That's
you.
why I want to say to these guys, Indobana, I want people to hear me very well. I want you to hear me.
Yeah.
Lomchado, this marriage, this thing, both of you, equally so, need to work hand in hand to assist one another. Where there is my weaknesses, you become my strength. In this case, you went to your family to say, guys, Anele, you have to consider that Anele does not work, and that is the reality, because you can end up losing a landlord because of lendo yelobola. You could lose up. You could. That's why lendo. I think families need to understand the pressure that comes. Lendaba yelobola, lendaba and abantu babene expectations ezingekhoyo. You begin to have this expectation to we honor that, we respect that, but we should do it in the confines of reasonability. Because your thinking should be, after a child, they are going to be able to live a well, healthy, balanced lifestyle now. Because kuko after, kuko before, kuko after. After kuko is malazin is thousands. After kuko is well into young bazo candoni. Now what I'm just thinking about our own daughter will be how my before the I will need to know in Dobana bamenjani nge-finances zabo but ithini imali yabo, you know, because it's important, because I know they won't even think about that, because that
we then decided that okay, fine, we are just gonna get umfundisi, and then after that
but baby, I needed to you went to your family. It's important.
I basically went to my family and then
kind of
negotiated with them. I had to, before he even brought his family to come and talk and whatever. I don't know what happens there, but anyway, I had to first talk to my mom, and I needed to make them understand what our financial status was at that time, because ngoku everything is smooth, né? But back then it wasn't as smooth as it is now. So I had to be honest, because sometimes umama, let's say for example, like what you were saying now, sometimes the family will just look at how you dress up, and when they come to your house, because we just recently bought a house, even Galatasha, and you were just getting on your feet because after you had lost umsebenzi. So I had to like make them realize Londo, and after that I need to mention this, that he paid like close to 20 something thousand, I think 21,000 if not 22,000 cash for my fees. So when this thing arose that we wanted to yes, so, and it was cash, and when this thing arose that we wanted to get married, now my family had these expectations because of he was able to pay off land. Now okay, this is the opportunity for them to make money. Kandi, it was about bringing families together. And I need to say this, that so I had to talk to my family and explain to them, okay, fine, le mali which was taken, it was part of the money which we had saved, because we had thought at that time that we were going to save for umshado wetu so that we could get married. So I needed to explain to them that this money which you guys just saw now, ipuma, for my fees, it was not money that we was just splurging around. It was just but it was money which was taken from the money which might come now. So whatever that you guys have, all the expectations, but obviously he didn't pay, even though I negotiated. Guys, I don't know how families can get, but we'll talk about this. But he did pay a lot of money, even though I negotiated.
I think this whole idea, it's always, it's very, because you could negotiate, baby. If families, they they have a different understanding about the whole process, and the process in formula. Traditions, customs, expectation abanazo ngentombi yabo. And again, it will take time for those things to change. For the muna, how can we change it to our own children to understand? Because into that I want to push hard for people to understand, beyond umtshato, ingaba abantu bazokhala njani after umtshato, ingaba abantu bazobana imali yobhatala indlu yabo, ukutya kwabo, all of those things before you go to this idea. And I felt pressure because my family said no kufuna utshata unayo na imali, and indoda ayilotyolelwa, you work hard and uyolobola ngokwakho, and I couldn't get help nowhere because in him or ufuna umfazi, and they didn't see any role. Because I have to I have to work hard to show indoda enough to my family to have imali, and it did not come easily. There was no way that I could save la mali ingaka for lento. So
but I do want to thank God as well, Anele, because we process is always built on grace and abundance, and I feel like God has always been very, 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 but very good to us all the time, even now. Because even when we didn't have much back then, but things happened. Like in the Bayamali, Yalobola, even though this ridiculous money, but Anele, like he explained, he paid everything on his own with no assistance from no friends, from no one. So for me, when that that happened. We only live through that. God's grace. Every single day, in and out, we live through that. And until we got married, we got umfundisi. Do you want to perhaps share that one?
Oh, my dearest pastor, Reverend Jacobs. You know, so I had to call him, and we went, and she said, okay, Anele, come through. We went through, and I explained to umfundisi that I want to get married to my wife, and so on and so on. The story and everything else. You know, we went even because counseling.
Yeah, counseling.
And one thing that is outstanding to me, when he was talking to us, wabona like this really matured partners who understand things deeply, not just artificially. You know, to a point whereby the course yake yonke because of we were able to respond to answers that developed this curriculum, counseling and everything else, marital counseling, and then when we were engaging on fundis, you know, the conversations that we had about mchato and the meaning of mchato and all of those conversations, because in the Balekleyo, guys, that I want people to understand, you have to internalize deeply if uyachata no Dloto, there will be no exit door, go entry only you enter this institution of chat. So after studying on Fundisi, we had conversations and so on, and then we were born by man. These people are unique people. They have a deep understanding from a biblical point of view, from our background as Christians and so on. And we went for it. We attended sessions, you know, we answered questions and so on. And then I remember this day, you were still chatting. There was nothing fancy about it, to be honest.
Put on our suits, our dress. And
there was that, and then we had my brother and
my friend,
and then as a man, and it felt real. I still remember today. It felt real. There's that aura that comes when you do your vows, your everything, your covenant agreement, and so on. And the presence at that place was so real to me. So we paid 350 for to honor Umfundisi, to officiate mshado wethu. And since that day, we had never had problems.
And we grow from one strength.
And one thing I want to say, babes, to people, Lendo that I'm gonna say to you, that if you want to get married to your partner, yes, it's possible.
It is possible. And
yes, it's possible. You got to be able not to allow the process to pressure you, because once there's too much pressure, you could then break down and break up.
For me personally, babes, I think people need to start realizing and need to get to a point of doing what is comfortable for them. What does being married mean? They need to be able to define it in their own terms.
So the question is, what does marriage mean to you? Umchado, personal. Why do you want to get married? What is the reasons for you getting? How do you understand mchado? And those questions are framing questions that are important for us as young people, because I'm gaining window that you don't know. Because there are a lot of things that are coming at you that you need to be ready for, psychologically, mentally, physically, emotionally. There are a lot of things that are demanding. Primarily, because you know, like I know I'm no longer living for myself only. You know, because when you get married, you are selling your authority, your right for being Anel. You no longer exist for your Anel. That today I can feel up going to Johannesburg today without discussing no one. I can't do that now. So you've got to be aware of this institution, young child.
So I don't know what I was saying, but my husband disturbed me there.
Sorry, love.
But you just need to be able to actually define a marriage with your own language and your own understanding, and don't allow the society, our families as well, because I think one thing that we were able to do very nicely and beautifully, and that's the reason why we are sitting here today this happy, and it's because of we actually were able to filter things which were said and even withstand the pressures, and our families, we were able to actually withstand those. And that's the reason why we were able to be comfortable to just say to a person who says to us, did you see that venue that's in Port Alfred? It's very nice. And to just say, thank you, we saw it, but we don't have money. You know, and we could be able to say boldly and very confidently because we knew that this was our thing. You know, it had to be done our way. And guys, if you guys want to perhaps maybe share what your experiences are, if you guys were married, please do share on the comment section. Or if this video was very informative and you think that you might perhaps want to ask us a question, please feel free to also do comment on the comment section. Don't forget to please subscribe on this button down here. On the subscribe button, don't forget to ring the bell also, so that you can be notified of our videos and our upcoming part 3, which will be talking about,
I don't know,
finances. So I know you guys want to know how we handle our finances.
And I think also I want to say this, guys. I want to say this. This is important for everyone.
Yeah.
This info that don't allow pressure to
Up until then,
thank you very much.
bye.